Okay, question number 5. Team, this is worth, let's go down and have a look at it. It's a big one. It's 14 marks. 15 marks is 25% of your paper. So there is a lot of marks here. So make sure you know your activity networks. Make sure you know your Gantt charts. Okay, so 5A, we start off at the beginning. An office is being redecorated. The project manager started to draw an activity network for the project. The unfinished network is on the opposite page. Complete the precedent table for the project. So this is worth 3 marks, and you can get some very easy marks by looking at the diagram and seeing that the middle numbers will be the duration. So we can fill those in nice and easily. So we've got 2, B is worth 1.5, C is 1, D is 1, E is 2, 2, 4. And if you're asking where I'm getting these numbers from, I am just reading them. So I is worth 1, J is 2, K 2.5, L and M 2 and 1. All right, so that's probably 1 mark. The predecessor is likely to be worth 2 marks or 1 mark, and you get 1 mark for everything correct. Now, the predecessor means what happens before it. So for A, there's nothing that happens before it. On the diagram, it's got nothing beforehand. The same is true for B. Now, C has A feeding into it. So A will be the immediate predecessor. D has got C and B. So I'll put these alphabetically, B and C. E has got also B and C feeding into it. F only has D. G has got E. H has F and G. I is got H. J has I. K has got H behind it. L has J behind it. And finally, M has got L and K, or K and L. There we go. Now it wants us to complete the activity network for the project. So that means we've got to fill in the early times and the late times. So starting off with A, we have 0 because that will start at the beginning of the project. So will B. And then C can't start until A is completed. Now A will take a minimum of 2. I think it's 2 hours, or is it 2 days? It's hours. Therefore, C cannot start until 2 hours have passed. Now, for the next bit, D, we've got 2 predecessors. C finishes after 3 hours, and B finishes after 1.5. Now, D cannot start at 1.5 because C is not finished yet. So you have to take the biggest number for the earliest start time. So for the earliest, you take the biggest. Therefore, D is going to be 3. F, 3 plus 1 is 4. And I'll worry about H shortly. For E, because C is a predecessor as is B, we then have to put a 3 there. And G will start at 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. 4 plus 2 is 6. So the biggest number gets taken for H. 9 plus 6 is 15. So both of these will have an early start time of 15. J will start after 16 because 15 plus 1 equals 16. 16 plus 2 is 18. And then we've got K, which is going to be 17.5, or L, which will be 20, meaning that M cannot start until 20 hours have passed. Now, the latest time we want to finish this, if it's all going to be on time, is 21. 20 plus 1 is 21. And then we work backwards. So 21 take away 1 is 20. And now my pen decides it doesn't want to write anymore. So I'm just going to pause the recording and come back again. Okay, we're back up and running. So we've got 20. And that means that K can finish at 20 as well. And that's because M can't start until 20. So that value of 20 is really important. 20 take away 2 is, of course, 18. So that gives us the late time for J. And then our late time for I is 18 take away 2, which is 16. Now we have h. We have to figure out what h is. We've got 20 take away 2.5, which is 17.5. Or we've got 16 take away 1, which is 15. And we have to take, for the latest, we take the smallest number. And therefore, we put 15 into here. And that's because we need it to be done by 15. If it's not done by 15, if it's done at 17.5, then this whole section here will be late and it pushes a knock-on effect onto M. 15 take away 6 is 9, so we have 9 in F and into G. 9 minus 4 is 5 going along that bottom root. 9 minus 2 is 7 for the top root. And then again, we have to do 7 minus 1 will be 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. So that late time for the other two will be 3 and 3. And then 3 minus 1 is 2. And that's our activity network fully completed. Okay, on to part C. Part C says state the critical path. So I'm going to get my highlighter, hopefully. I'm glad you can see my OneNote disagreeing with me there. And I'm going to look for values that have got what is a critical value. And that means that the late time, take away duration, will equal the early time. And that would be here for M. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then up to C and A. So our critical path will be this route here. And if what that means is critical means that if there's any delays to it, it's going to delay the whole project. So when I now go to my critical path, it's like, I guess, when someone says your job is critical, that's what they're saying. So A, C, E, G, H, I, J, L, and M. Okay, the Gantt chart, I nearly called it the gateway, or the gates chart. Complete the Gantt chart for the project. Now, this is quite simple. If we have a look at A is 4 squares, but actually its duration is 2, which means that we've got these going up in 5s down at the bottom. And that fits quite nicely. B is our first one. B, if I go back up to the top and have a look, B's duration is 1.5. It starts at the very beginning. So 1, 2, 3 squares, like so. Now there's something special about B, and something that I did at the end, but I'm going to explain to you now, is that with B, you've got your late time take away your duration will equal float time. So 3 minus 1.5 equals 1.5. So this has got a float time of 1.5, meaning that they've got 1.5 hours where they can play with that. And that means that the float time goes to there. And they want to see this on this Gantt chart. So for C, in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video now. I'm going to draw this Gantt chart because it will take ages. And then you can mark it once I've drawn it. Okay, so here's this Gantt chart drawn. I've saved you from what could have been the most boring 3 minutes of your life watching me draw that. But you can see here we've got the float times for D, the float times for F, and I've got a float time up there for K. That's not the most clearest. Let me just go that bit. But that's what our Gantt chart looks like. And all of those big blocks are from the early time up to the end of that duration. Okay, on to our next part. All right, so the project manager decides to start the project on Saturday and complete it on the Sunday. Activity H will take place overnight. All other activities need to take place between 7 and 5 p.m. each day. There are enough workers for multiple tasks to take place. So work out the latest time that the project could start on the Saturday. So Saturday, we're looking at the A to G completion. That is 9 hours. And from 5 p.m., what am I doing here? Let me just double check this. So A to G, go back up to the top. Go to my chart here. So A to G is 2, 3, 4, 5. So that takes 9 hours. It's going to take 9 hours for HG. And from 5 p.m. we want to go backwards. I think I know what I did here now. I'm going to convert it though. From 17, take away 9. That gives us 8 a.m. So the latest that should start is 8 a.m. Good, we got there. Okay, for the next bit, work out the earliest time that the project can be completed. So we're looking at the I to M part because H is happening overnight. I to M. Again, I'm going to go back to the diagram. I'm not taking chances here. So starts at 15, that's including K, gets to 21, so that's 6 hours. So I to M is 6 hours. And then what time are they going to start? 7 a.m. So 7 plus 6 is 13, which is 1 p.m. That is 14 marks. I hope you are at least picking up marks for the pictures, marks for the diagrams, marks for the charts. Should be good. And then, of course, picking up these little bonus marks at the end. Right, that's question 5, and I'll see you at question 6.